Hi everybody, so glad to be back. I'm sorry about this morning. I had done a video and I think I needed to change the battery or something on something. Anyways, we're doing it again. So I appreciate you guys coming back and joining me today if you're here. If you're a first timer, that's great. Welcome. If you have comments, you can leave comments. Let me just remind you of a couple of things. Down in the corner of my videos, you usually can hit subscribe. There's also a donation button if you'd like to donate. That always helps too. If you don't, no big deal. Thank you so much for joining in, though. Today I wanted to start right in. I have just finished a book. This is a book called, I don't know if you can see that really great, called The Orphan Train. This book was written in response to something I didn't know about in history until I had just ran across this book and this information. From 1853 to 1929, approximately 250,000 children were transported by train from New York City all over the United States of America, clear out to the West Coast and back. These children will be picked up in New York. They would be transported from town to town to town to town. In those towns, the towns would set up a town hall meeting. The children would deboard the train. They would stand up. Adults would see which children they wanted to take home, and those children would technically become part of that family. They were supposed to be sent to school. However, many of them became just cheap labor, and their names were changed many times. Sometimes these children were orphans. Sometimes these children were just abandoned by their parents for whatever reason. And sometimes they were homeless. So it often makes you wonder how many times these children were inadvertently picked up when parents were maybe out looking for jobs or just were gone for a few days or whatever, even though they shouldn't have left their children. Back in those time frames that we're talking about, our nation had very, very, very poor people in it. They had come from different countries, many of them. They didn't have wages. They were suffering in their own right. And not to mention the children we had here, the Native American children as well, who were probably part of those trains. So I wanted to give that information to you so that when you are doing research on family members and you're running across stumbling blocks, this might be someplace for you to look. I believe it's in New York. You can look this information up on Google under the orphan train. You will find all sorts of information. There's actually a hall that's set up where they keep information on these children with passages from overseas to here, any information that they have where other family members have come forth and donated information on these children. You may find out you had a member of your family that was actually on this train, and through time, it's come to be revealed. So wanted to give you that information. I thought it was very, very, very interesting. I'm still reading books on it, so I really recommend that book. It's a fast read, very interesting book, really opens your eyes to a lot of things. The other thing I want to remind you of, it is Memorial Weekend. Be sure that you honor your servicemen and women who have died in the service, in battles. We always want to remember them and want to just give a shout out to those families who have lost members, and just really grateful to have the country that we have and for the support these people have given so much for. Anyways, and I thought today I would go ahead and just start with put my song in the center of everything today. So I'm going to do that. So bear with me just a minute. Hopefully it comes out better than it did this morning. And thanks again for your patience. I'm so glad you're here. Hang on just a second. I can see you turn away. And when I ask what for, you say it isn't anything. I'm not sure, something underneath the skin. I'll let you be, and you try to keep it in. All that I can see. The woman before me must have been on you. 'Cause I heard in your eyes, I never put you through. Sometimes I think you must be talking to woman before me and you. Sometimes it will show when you go a little farther than you meant to go. I know you don't mean the thing that you say. I just wanna ease the pain that's in your way. But the woman before me must have been hard. 'Cause I heard in your eyes, I never put you through. Sometimes I think you must be talking to the woman before me and you. If there are sorrows that bring back the tears, don't let them keep us apart. You ought to know you've got nothing to fear here in my heart. You and I will never be like the past, whatever kind of that you have. Nothing's gonna hurt you now. Oh, can't you see? I've already made a vow. I can see the woman before me must have been hard. 'Cause I heard in your eyes, I never put you through. Sometimes I think you must be talking. Woman before me and you. Sometimes I think you must be talking. Woman before me and you. Great. Thank you so much for letting me share that with you. Remember what I always tell you, if you like doing something when you were younger, and I love singing, don't stop doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. That was Trisha Yearwood, by the way, one of the great performers of our time, and I really enjoy that song and love her music. So let me share this with you. This is a piece of art that I did. Love the headdress. I like to paint headdresses. They're very beautiful to me. And this is a structure that's in Ireland that is all metal. And I wanted to make something wonderful for Caroline. She had this result happen that I told you can happen sometimes, where she always felt she was Native American. And so we did her DNA. And lo and behold, her DNA came up and said, well, you're really Irish. What we did find out as time went on and has evolved, and family members have interjected what they knew in different sites, lo and behold, she's Cherokee. So she is Native, but like I told you, sometimes in your DNA, it might not show up because it's just so far down the line. But you are Native if you are Native. If it was there once, it's in you forever, just like all the other blood is. And I did this for her, and eventually it will end up in her home. But you can actually go to Ireland and see this beautiful metal statue that the Irish people have erected for the Choctaw Nation to say thank you. And what happened was in the 1830s, there was the potato famine that we've all heard about over time in Ireland, and it killed many, many people there. They had nothing, they starved to death. Well, the Choctaw Nation somehow found out about that, and they raised and sent money to the Irish people. At the time, they sent $175 to them. Now, to us, we're going, well, that doesn't sound like very much money. But in that time, that was $5,000, the equivalent of $5,000 to that nation. And so it helped them, and they never forgot it. So it's just a beautiful way that the Irish people have honored the Choctaw Nation. And I wanted to incorporate it in this painting for my friend. And so I have done that. The other thing I wanted to let the Choctaw let you know is that just recently, this year, this bond with the Irish people continues on today. The Choctaw Nation and the Irish island have come up with a way for students who are Choctaw who might like to go over there and study abroad at their university. They are able to do that. The Choctaw Nation has now made that possible for them because of the Irish Nation as well. So what a great story and just a wonderful act of human kindness, two worlds apart, literally, at that time. So what I wanted to also remind you of is our children. Please keep your children safe. Keep them where you know where they're at. Watch who's around them. Take care of yourself. Let your loved ones know where you're going. Be sure you leave them a note or something so they can find you. You know, it just doesn't take much time for somebody to devastate your life by hurting your children or yourself. Also, remember that happy is a choice. I know a few people who are terribly not happy people, and it shows. You know, you got the same pants on to be happy in, so you might as well be happy. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, anyways, right? Do it in a happy manner. Hey, remember your blood calls you, you go find it. I am Native by Heart Art by Shawn Shelton. I really appreciate you joining in. If you can subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. You guys have a great day, a great weekend, and thanks again. God bless.